The scientific principle that this invention uses is hydrostatic pressure. Where water is piled up higher, the pressure beneath that pile is also higher. In the sea, wave action piles water higher in some areas than it does in other areas. Everyone knows that water moves from an area of higher pressure to an area of lower pressure. Place a rigid conduit or tube between such an underwater area of higher pressure and one of lower pressure, and the water will flow through that tube from the area of higher pressure to the area of lower pressure. Here is key point number 1. This invention works on underwater pressure differences that are created by the waves on the surface of the sea. We have here a stop-action animation sequence with sea waves depicted as moving from right to left over a submerged tube that is open at both ends. As shown in this animation, when the waves pile up water higher on the end of the tube labeled A, the water flows through the tube from end A towards end B where the water is lower. Likewise, when the waves pile water higher over end B, the water flows in the other direction from end B toward end A. This back and forth flow of water through the tube caused by underwater pressure differences will happen anywhere under the 70% of the earth covered with water that has waves on its surface. And this is the importance of key point number 1. This is why we say the energy available using this method is almost unlimited. This means that this invention is a means of easily and inexpensively accessing a vast, huge source of energy. We place a special turbine in the tube to capture the energy from that back and forth flow of water in the tube. This is key point number 2. We use a simple, inexpensive Darius turbine that always spins in the same direction no matter which way the direction of flow crosses over the turbine. This is a simple turbine, and simple means inexpensive. It's a turbine in a tube. What could be simpler? This is why we say simple and inexpensive. Here's a top view depiction of the turbine. This is a slow motion animation. Watch the motion of the turbine's flaps closely. See how the flaps catch the flow on the right side of the turbine and feather into the flow so as to offer no resistance to the flow on the left side of the turbine. When the flow of water reverses, see how the flaps flip to catch the flow on the left side of the turbine and thereby still keep the turbine spinning in the same clockwise direction, even though the flow of water in the tube has changed direction. The turbine will be mounted in the tube on a vertical shaft. After that, it's just a matter of attaching the turbine shaft to an electric generator. Here's another animated view of how the turbine works. This one starts with the top view, and then the image moves to a side view. The following is key point number 3, and why we say this invention is much more powerful than any other waveform or any other kind of power plant. Our turbine not only produces a unidirectional rotation from a back and forth flow, but it also rotates on a vertical shaft. This vertical shaft is very important for amplifying power, and this drawing shows why. The drawing shows 3 of our tubes arranged in a stack with the turbines of each tube attached to the same common shaft. Why is this important? Consider the following. If one turbine of one tube produces 5 kilowatts from a given pressure difference, then 3 turbines of 3 tubes stacked vertically so that the tubes all get the same pressure difference will deliver 15 kilowatts to a common shaft. Each time we add a tube and turbine unit to the stack, with the turbines of each tube attached to the same common vertical shaft, we add more power to that shaft, which in turn then delivers more power to the generator. Stacking in this way will produce many times more energy than you can get from the surface wave, many times more energy depending on how high you stack the tube and turbine units. The sheer immensity of the energy resource this invention makes available to the human family is staggering. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a simple, easy, inexpensive invention that operates on known principles of easy-to-understand science, and it will enable the human family to easily and inexpensively access almost unlimited, almost free, clean energy. Looking at the 3 key points again, I'm sure it's dawning on most of you that this is not just another waveform concept. This is not just another invention. This is a breakthrough, a blockbusting innovation, a whole new paradigm in the energy industry.